Hello everyone, this video is not sponsored. This is the Lumibricks Interstellar Drive-In set, which I paid $120 US for. You can get it cheaper than that on the Lumibricks website if you are a member or you use somebody's discount code or something like that, but I wanted to get it quickly, so I bought it off Amazon as soon as it became available. As you can see, it comes with 4 minifigures here. There are 13 LEDs in this set officially and 26 printed parts. This carport over here is actually a separate build, and also you get the car, obviously, but this is just a very mid-century sort of thing. It's the very first thing that you build. It has a little palm tree off to the side, a couple of planters as well, but it doesn't even have any attachments, so this is intended to just be put in the scene wherever you want it to be. But it looks pretty nice, though, I will say, and it is, again, period appropriate and goes with the scheme, the color scheme of the set. The time period of this road trip series that they're doing is, I would say, approximately early to mid 1960s, something in the 62 to 64 kind of range. But this car is older. Obviously, at any given moment, all the vehicles on the road are not from that exact year. So this is something probably from like mid to late 50s, but it's obviously a fanciful car as well. It's super long. It has weird proportions. They went really crazy with the fins back here, which are actually done in this cream color. All of the doors open, but because this has electronics built into it for headlights and taillights, it has a high floor. When you try to put a figure in there, you can get a driver to sit, properly at the front, because you have those two studs right there that are facing towards the rear, so you can actually plug the feet into that. But if you want to get a passenger in, they're just going to have to kind of balance, and then they can fall over easily. So unfortunately, that doesn't work out so well. And also, when you do have a driver in there, you can see that the windscreen is way too low. Like, it's crazy low. I personally don't really like most of the vehicle designs from Lumibricks to date. They're okay at best. Usually have something particularly weird about this one, about them. This one in particular does use, like most of their minifig scaled ones, a battery box underneath, which will just fit, attached to the bottom of the chassis. This is what it looks like. It takes two 2032 flat wide watch batteries, but these are annoying to change out on a regular basis as I'm going through reviewing a bunch of these sets. So here I'm just stealing temporarily a little bit of power from the main building on just its short little line to show you that you've got the headlights right there, which are nice and bright, a good color, probably too bright, but it's okay. And then really bright taillights as well, which are so bright that they are actually giving you more red light than the camera sensor can handle at this particular setting right here. But yeah, they are very, very red. And you're probably seeing yellow in the middle right there. It's actually not yellow in real life. It's a nice red glow all the way around. But there's one thing about the inconvenience of these battery boxes and the car thing that is not just specific to content creators and reviewers like me. For just regular folks who don't want to run on batteries, which you have to change out on a regular basis, if you at least want to use a rechargeable USB battery pack like I do, or connect to continuous USB based power from your mains, ultimately just using an adapter, they don't give you the part that you need to run your car. So some of the sets are starting to include them, but this one does not. This needs an adapter to be able to connect from their regular USB-A cable to a car. It's just a little female to female adapter. You can see one just right there. So there's one included in the set, but they need one spare one, and it's just not here. They really need to start including just a little bit in the way of spares for electronics for people who want to have larger collections all lit up. The main building uses a AAA battery box by default, so if you don't have something USB, you can just use that. I personally don't like the AAAs because they just aren't, they're smaller, they're a little bit less common than AA's, and also they don't last as long typically. But you can see that around the back of the building, the least camera-friendly area, it still looks fine. It doesn't look bad. The white fits in. You've got some nice little details around the sides. They've got these little robots as well. I think they're just supposed to represent, I don't think they're supposed to be actually working, although you can use your imagination and say that they are working. I think that in this scene, if you want to be accurate with it, they would just be props around the place. But however you want to look at that. This is the drive-through. So it actually does have a drive-through in addition to being an old school drive-in as well, just a place where you drive up and then service will come out to you and you can get your food. You can also use the drive-through, which at this time would have been an innovation, would have been a really innovative thing. But nice prints here. I'm glad that they are progressing with their use of type. They're using less type in their prints. They're using more period appropriate and scene appropriate typefaces as well. See some small little details around here. Another one of those robots. Print up on the window there. You can see just a little bit. This is intentional. We come, it's like the we come in peace kind of reference. There's your main sign, I guess. I mean, this is really the main sign, but this actually, says what the thing is. You see there's one wire up here that is not well managed. I'll have to go back and check to see if I do have one leftover piece that I could use to help tighten that up, but that's just the one thing that I didn't like seeing. This is intended to be slightly at an angle as well. Just finishing looking around out here though. Here's another one of those bots. This one has a magnifying glass. Just kind of checking out some of the details. I really love the clear pieces included in this set. Just so many alternate color pieces that I haven't seen before of pieces that I have seen. I've seen the molds, but I haven't seen the colors before, as well as parts that they have that, let's say, the big brand doesn't have. It's always just nice to see, as a fan of the system, to see more stuff used in interesting ways. I mean, like these black half-width bushings down here, Technic bushings, that look like great tires or casters. If you only had those in gray or let's say yellow or something, it wouldn't look quite right. This is a nice little treat cart that can be brought around to cars that are parked outside, just for serving and also doing a little bit of upsale as well. I like all the little bubble style windows. It just kind of gives it some extra interesting flair. And then more plants around the outsides. And well, technically, you could put a figure inside of this. It does have a light. I'll show you everything with the lights in the studio turned off soon. There are also a couple of little control sticks in there, but this just does so much. It's very difficult for me to say, oh, wow, that is so bright, huh? What is going on with that? It's very difficult for me to say, let's move on and take a look at the interior, but let's move on and take a look at the interior before I go ahead and turn off the lights and show you how all that works. And let me just find the spot where it splits, which is right here. I wanted to do this without any cuts so that you can see just how this works, that this can open up 180 degrees and it's very easy. There are no locks or anything. You just find the spot and open it up. I like the design of the interior. I like the spacing of everything. I like the part choices that they went with. I feel like the density of detail feels right to me. They also do have some studs, so it's not all tiled off. They have some studs, so you could actually attach figures in some places, which is very, very important. I wouldn't mind having a few more, but again, at least there are some. That's a huge improvement, and I want to see more and more of that. Nice little details with the bookcase over here. Some prints, not an overwhelming number of prints, though. They didn't really go crazy with it. Interestingly, over here on this little, it's like magazine stand sort of thing. Come on, this should be able to pop right off. I did it wrong, but that's okay. The best prints here are in the back, in my personal opinion, just by default. I would swap those around, but I just had to build it the way that it was shown in the instructions, because otherwise it would be wrong, quote unquote wrong. That's a little teaser of something that's coming up set-wise. And this is nice. I'm surprised it went so close to realistic, if I could say that. Close to realistic, they just didn't go really wild with the art style with it. But it's a pretty nice little space. The counter here, you mostly see the detail of it from the other side. But this can be pulled out, so you can just get a little teaser here, a little cheat, which is pretty dang nice. I like the coffee kettle there. Too bad this doesn't have a print. I'm surprised that the cash register does not have a print, but otherwise, again, nice use of the space and a stud back there as well for a service person to be standing at. The other little wing that opens up features this very, very nice looking jukebox that I'm very, very disappointed to have no lights in it. It's the perfect opportunity to just put a light inside of there anywhere and let these iridescent blue tubes light up. I mean, that's such a miss. It's not that bad. It's just, this still looks really, really nice. And the material is so fancy. It does have prints in there, but I really 100% expected them to light this up and they didn't. So it's just, just a little bit of a letdown there. So you see some pizza over here with the individual slices. And if you didn't notice, all of the white floor tiles in the checkerboard pattern down here are actually iridescent. It's iridescent clear over the cream color that's beneath. So all of these have just a little sheen to them. It's slightly polychromatic, goes between a cyan and more of a violet color. And you got a little biscuit here for the joint. Oh yeah, this is actually a print. That's interesting how they did that. This is a 2x6 with a print in the middle. None of the other part of the pattern is done that way, but just where they wanted to have this little biscuit joiner come in, they did that. And hey, it works, so no complaints. Here's how it looks all opened up with more of a gentle evening sort of feel and just not pulling as much attention to itself from the outside. Maybe this is during like off-peak hours when it's just locals coming around. It's kind of a nice feeling. However, when you put the ceiling on, everything changes. Now, the lights that are attached to the underside here are mostly illuminating the outside. However, you do get a lot of reflection inside back up to that white ceiling. It's all white in there. And then obviously on the outside, you get this tremendous glow. This is a kind of a faux EL or faux neon strip going around the outside there, which is just a flexible LED strip, actually two of them. Oh, wow, that's just so bright. But then it illuminates this translucent ring around here, which is all trans light blue iridescent. So it's got some iridescence. It's got a little bit of cloudiness to it, and it just has such a strong and consistent glow all the way around. You also have that one light on the inside, which is a kind of a magenta color, which really makes that glow as well. You've got the glow for the sign here. And then with the additional lights outside, this is just providing a little bit of mood lighting, also kind of giving you some hue contrast as well. You can see the light above here. I mean, it's very, very bright, but hue contrast is a really important thing. It just makes the scene more interesting. They could have just used a regular white color outside, but they didn't. They went with this magenta, and it makes it just more spooky and otherworldly, and also, just kind of, I don't know, just makes it feel more surreal. And I'd say only a good way. Now, one thing that I didn't talk about here with regards to the roof and the ceiling, depending on which side you're looking at, is that this has so many pieces in it. It's ridiculous because look at this. It's got, they could have just done it with a couple plates stacked up, but they've got a bunch. And then they created these pie slices as well. There's just way more interest, more visual interest here than there needs to be. And I'm so thankful for that. Curved around the edges. You have this additional trim around the edges as well. So you've got white here. This is actually fairly secure for what it is. Again, I'm not that much of a fan of how the wires aren't well managed here. There's one spare piece, so I could just kind of attach this over here, but this could be kind of tucked away just a little bit better. And you got a lot of trans light blue. These pieces here are actually trans light blue. It all just ties together. Even this base here is all trans light blue. It's actually a different trans light blue. You have your regular trans light blue, and then you have this iridescent, translucent light blue. They're different hues, different darkness, just different colors entirely, but both good. And just overall, the lighting on this is very, very strong. You definitely get your money's worth, in my opinion, going with the Lumibricks system here. Now the carport has no lights in it, no lights attached to it, no way to get lights to it. But as long as it's nearby, I think it's going to be illuminated well enough because this spills plenty of light outside. These first three figures are obviously unofficial Star Trek The Original Series fans. I don't know if they're intended to be employees or customers or both, but they're cool. And I appreciate the references. Obviously, they had to make them slightly distinct. Didn't want to get in trouble. I could have done without the markings on the faces personally, but I mean, that's a tiny little thing. Two of them have the dual colored legs, which are colored all the way around. That's actually done with prints, not with multi-molding, but hey, it works, and it's consistent and good and everything. So just in general, I don't know, they're kind of cool. Not everybody likes the figures. Some people have gotten used to them, but whatever the case may be, Lumibricks has said publicly that they are changing their figures in response to customer feedback. So we'll see what they come up with. No official word or teases just yet as to what they're going to be changing in the future. And then this very pink feller is obviously the owner of the very pink car included in the set. I don't know how to feel about this one. Like, I'm not mad at the color scheme whatsoever. I'm definitely not mad at the hearts. But I feel like this is like a rich person is kind of full of himself, kind of maybe a little bit of a megalomaniac. That's just kind of what I read from here. I might be reading that wrong. Might be actually a perfectly nice and well-adjusted person who just, has a strong sense of a particular style, and that's okay. But I don't know. I don't think I'd be friends with this person. Again, 2,188 pieces for $120 if you get it with none of the readily available discounts, at least in the US. This set is great. It is truly great. It really leans 100% into a specific theme and nails it. It's as if the person who designed this is just a huge fan of this era, or even grew up during this era, which I don't think is true. I think they just did their research a lot, because Lumibricks has done other themes exceptionally well also. I don't know, maybe I'm off on that, but whatever happened, it happened really, really well. I'm happy with the end result. I'm happy with how we got here. Again, their cars, not so great. Everything else, very, very, very good. I have so few complaints about this. It's just the tiniest little nitpicks, like we could have some more studs outside to hold the figure's feet, and then again with the car. But also more importantly with the car, the ability to connect to the car to continuous power, or at least your own USB-A or USB-based power pack of some sort. They need to do that consistently. I've seen it in at least one set. I also didn't mention that the car does use the next generation style of wiring, where it's actually flat cables that are able to bend. You actually can see that right here. This one's just a little bit off. Talking about nitpicks, right? This one's just a little bit off. Ended up, when I put this in here, this side just ended up grabbing more. I did take that off, tried to adjust it, but it still wanted to take more on that side. So not having any piece to cover that up, that is the cable right there, just makes it a little bit off. But you have to trust those cables. You have to trust that they are designed to be pinched. They worked really, really well for the headlights here. And we'll see. It's not the first set that has used that system, but we'll see how much they use that in the future. But as long as you trust it, and as long as the materials work as intended, that's going to be a nice addition to their system. I still like having regular cables that are larger, easier to manage. They're already pretty small. I mean, the connectors are already pretty small, but more variety. As long as it all works with the system and makes sense, I'm all here for it. They definitely are doing a lot of good stuff, a lot of innovation, and trying things. They're not afraid to try things. I appreciate all that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for the support of the channel with channel memberships or Twitch subscriptions if you're watching the builds over there, or just using the affiliate link down, any of the affiliate links down in the video description if you're going to make a purchase. I am not trying to sell you anything. I never try to sell you anything. I might recommend something if I think that it's exceptionally good. This is very good, but I'm not going to try to push you to get this unless you like what you see. I hope that I've at the least shown you everything that you want to see about this. I've given you some of my thoughts that hopefully help you out. And just hope that I've brought you some value with this video. Again, thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you again soon.